So I just want to know that if you see a woman being violent, it means they watched anime.
That's definitely a take.
Well, it's not mine. It's not mine. It's the articles.
Handed me a loaded subject right there, didn't you?
New UN report claims manga and anime promote gender stereotypes, violence against women and children.
You know what this sounds like? This sounds like when video games.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
No way.
Yes.
It sounds like when video games early on.
As soon as I read this, I'm like, okay, this is like people saying that video games cause violence, which isn't true.
Except now they're targeting anime because anime has grown so much.
Exactly.
And you know what? They did this with card games too. They did it with Magic.
Really?
Yeah, they did it with Magic. They did it with Yu-Gi-Oh. Except instead of violence, it was promoting Satanism.
What the? What?
Yeah, like especially Yu-Gi-Oh. They said that it was Satanism. You're playing
it's
with
got
like
magic in it.
Yeah.
Therefore, a new report from the United Nations has claimed that manga, anime, and video games produced in Japan promote gender stereotypes and violence against women and children. The report was published following an in-person review of Japan's progress on implementing the Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women. The report pointed out that stereotyped gender roles continue to be a root cause of violence against women based on gender or sexual orientation.
Is the problem that they're saying that it's getting depicted in anime, or is the problem that they're using that as like an excuse of why people do it?
I think they're more using it as an excuse because there's a lot of anime out there that doesn't go with the normal, woman stereotypes. There's plenty of anime and video games out there where they actually do the opposite.
Listen, I don't want them to change my anime. Look what happens when they change video games. There's so many games bombing right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're always attacking popular media. Leave the video games and leave the anime alone.
Yeah, just because I see a woman cooking in a kitchen doesn't mean the anime is like, oh, it's using a stereotype, yada yada yada. It's like, I mean, woman cook, men cook. I just see a woman cooking in the kitchen. That's all I see.
Yeah. And plus, like, are you just never supposed to show a woman cooking? Because I mean, I've seen shows where men cook too.
Yeah,
like, as you just said.
Yeah.
So is it only supposed to be them that cook? Or like,
I watched this isekai where this guy gets a cooking skill. That's what his main skill is, and then he's a good cook. He makes stuff, and people get stronger because of it. That freaking food dungeon.
Yeah. I was just gonna bring that up.
Yeah, the male is the one doing the cooking.
Yo, listen though, that dwarf is my favorite character.
In fact, I think the woman in that show isn't good at cooking at all.
No, actually, she's very skeptical of a lot of the food because of it when they on it.
It then expressed concern that forms of media, including manga, anime, and video games, could potentially encourage gender-based or sexual orientation-based violence against women and girls. It recommends that Japan implement effective legal measures and monitoring programs to address the production and distribution of such content. This has drawn criticism from Japanese politician Taro Yamada, who argued that the report's claims are unfounded and infringes on the freedom of expression. Yamada stated on social media that no questions regarding manga, anime, or games were raised during the in-person review, despite their explicit mention in the final report. He has called for the CDAW to disclose the sources and evidence behind their concerns, and is considering requesting a retraction of this information if this information is not provided. Which he should definitely do, because it's just a bunch of nonsense.
That's what I think. Just leave it alone. That's their art, and anybody can make the anime. So you can make anime how you want. If you don't want to have, as you said, women cooking in the kitchen, for example,
yeah, exactly.
Don't do it. And it sounds like a society problem, like a societal problem. You know what I mean? Like if don't blame it on something. Try to find a reason to help it. Like maybe teach a class of it in school. You know what I mean?
There you go. Find the actual root of the problem instead of just blaming it on media.
Yeah, do something to alleviate it instead of just trying to blame something for it.
What's going to happen with the action genre? You just don't want them to fight? Like,
I don't watch Demon Slayer and say, you know what? I'm gonna go slash some people.
Same thing when it comes to Naruto. And the thing is, when it comes to shows like that, they're in a circumstance where if you were in that circumstance, that's the kind of thing you would do, because that's the society they live in. And is it promoting children and woman violence? Not really. I mean, there is violence in those shows, and some of them are children, yes, but the intention isn't to say, oh yeah, this is children violence and we're for it, yada yada yada.
Yeah.
It's Naruto just so happens to be a child that has to go and do battle because that's the time or the period in time that he lives in. At the end of the day, anime rocks, video games rock. Are every single one of them good? No. But still, I'm sure every single one of them is enjoyable in every single way or form, except for High Guardian Spice.